I'm Emmanuel Thingue. I'm a landscape architect with New York City Parks and Recreation. I've designed quite a few parks in my 20 years at Parks. South Oxford Park here being one of them. I'm extremely passionate about what I do. The way the park system is set up in terms of producing a park, in meeting with the community and getting their input, it's a lot more involved than when I worked in private office. Usually it really hinges on what the community would like, and I try to respond generally to what the community wants. When we have the scope meeting on site and the community tells me what they would like, I would try to push the envelope and sort of suggest to them what would be beneficial in terms of a project. Because a lot of time, the people at the community, although they have an idea of what they want and they are very familiar with the park, you as a designer can see a vision of where you can bring it a little bit further. Designing public spaces, there's so many entities involved, you can't bulldoze and let your ego take over. It's sort of like you have to create a balance while sort of informing people about what your design intentions are and sort of teaching them to accept what your design proposal, and at the same time listening to what their concerns are. My tendency, and not everyone works that way, but my way of working is sort of like to try as many different designs and pluck out the best one out of it. So when I do a project, I do hundreds of designs sometimes for one park, and then sort of like weed out the ones that I don't think produce the best effect. So like creating artscape with planting and with elements. So that's how I view landscape architecture. In terms of bringing nature in an abstract form into this park, it kind of morphed whereby the color of the pavement became more of a natural color. And that's sort of like the idea of having, you know, the cattails springing from nature, associating with water, being an element in the park. And that's so the basic concept is sort of like you have the beginning, the source point, which has a gurgling water coming out of the ground and sort of cascading to this trough and coming into this central space, and then the cattails sort of like in an abstract form, and then showing this sort of like natural grassland associated with cattails forming the edge of it, the boundary of it. In terms of sustainability, this commissioner in particular, since I've been at Parks, have been really pushing to create sustainable design, and every designer is taking that into their park design. I drive around to many of the parks just to see whether what I've done of design works, and you know, it's the greatest satisfaction to see the parks being used.